All right, so let me get this straight. We both live in New York, and today's guest is from New York, but we're not with the guest in New York.
No, I am in somewhere not New York, and you're somewhere not in New York.
No, actually, I am for once, but how cool is that? See you soon.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Hey everybody, welcome to No Vacancy Live. We got Anthony Melchiori in the house. I am still Glenn Hausman. It's great to see you all today. Anthony, how's it going?
Do you like my Mr. Rogers sweater?
I was gonna ask you if you took your shoes off and put your sneakers on to walk around the room.
Yes. So boys and girls, we're going to have a good. Actually, the best Mr. Rogers is Eddie Murphy.
Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Yeah. Of course I remember
That's
that.
the landlord.
Yeah. Who is this?
That's the landlord. Boys and girls, that was a.
We're just gonna go out the fire escape on today's show. Bye, boys and girls. All right. So enough with comedy from before. Most of you out there were probably bored, but that's it. So Anthony, today we're going to be talking about a new hotel management and ownership group, a new-ish hotel. Well, new to me because apparently this hotel is blowing up, reinventing luxury, setting new standards, and I'm such a dope. I had no idea any of this was going on.
Well, yeah, and let me tell you something. If it gets on my radar in a big way, and I'm paying attention to it, I'm like, oh, they're really doing this the right way. From the people they hired, from the finishes, to the type of property. I mean, this is a whole different level, and I think, and I'll let our guests talk about it. But I think they're fitting in exactly where needed in New York City, and I think a lot of their competition be paying very close attention.
Well, me located out here at the Houseman Resort Pool Club and Smokehouse is going to be taking notes today. We want to up the luxury experience over here. Maybe I'll give napkins out with the ribs if
you know, since you kind of elevated to Smokehouse, it sounds very 5-star.
I know. I do that now instead, and now I'm gonna use all sorts of words on menu items like crispy and hand picked and stuff like that, just so I can charge my friends.
And farm fresh.
Yes. Exactly. All right. Forget this fake hospitality. Let's talk about real hospitality. Welcome to the show, Elizabeth Mullins, Managing Director and COO of Flâneur Hospitality, coming at us today, I think, from the Fifth Avenue Hotel. Elizabeth, how are you today?
I'm great, Glenn. Thank you. Nice to see you again, Anthony. It's such an honor to be on the show.
I'm so excited to have you here. So I think we're going to become fast friends. I've only known you now for about 8 minutes, and I sense really good energy from you.
Likewise.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
Well, you've been running hotels in New York City at the highest level. So listen, New York runs at a level that most people can't handle. Then in the New York City market, it's tough, and then you're at the finest hotels in the world in New York City. You got to run faster than everybody else, because if not, they'll catch you.
Without a doubt.
I should say before they opened, the Fifth Avenue Hotel was on Forbes and Travel and Leisure's most anticipated openings list last year. They're at West 28th, 2 blocks north of Madison Square Park. Great neighborhood. All right, so I want to get in there with the first question. I don't know if it's a question as much of a statement. How nuts is it that this company is starting out and coming into New York City and trying to tell all the other hoteliers how they should be doing their business? Quite audacious, pretty impressive. Tell us a little bit about what attracted you to this organization, what you think the difference here is going to be.
Yeah, so I have a long history running hotels. I was 28 years with the Ritz-Carlton. I think I was a GM 9 times, an area VP for a decade, and 7 years with the Walt Disney Company. And this hotel came on my radar as I was thinking, what's next? And what do I really want to do? So I made the list like we all do. I made the list and I said, you know what I've never done is I've never run an independent. No safety net, right? Nothing, no rule book. You get to do it all yourself. And so literally I found Flâneur Hospitality. They found me. I was incredibly impressed by the owner and by their vision. So my owner is this 34-year-old young entrepreneurial spirit.
Wow.
That is inspired by travel. And so
I completely agree with you about being impressed with that, but I'm also a slightly annoyed and jealous.
But I also think you both understand about being impressed by travel, because travel truly is what fuels you. And so Alex was fueled by his experiences. His family has owned the site that the hotel is on since the 1970s.
Wow.
Yeah. So the hotel is in two parts. Part of it is a Gilded Age mansion that was built in the 1800s. It was home to Charlotte Goodrich. She was a famous socialite in the Gilded Age. Then about 40 years later, it turned into the Second National Bank of the United States. And then it sort of had a variety of different things in it owned by Alex's family. And so it took 50 years for them to actually come up with the concept of Flâneur, inspired by Alex's travels, and develop the hotel. So we have a mansion and we have a new built tower, which sits where the carriage house would have been. About 24 rooms in the mansion, 129 in the tower. It's designed by Martin Brzezinski, who's truly having a moment in the design space. And what he created, I call a little jewel box. And it's this incredibly beautiful property that sort of takes your breath away.
Oh, so Elizabeth, next question for you. Why the lack of enthusiasm?
I know.
You are positively aglow. I love this. Anthony, sorry.
So Glenn, now you understand why I wanted
totally.
on the show.
Yeah, totally.
A couple things I want to, I always want to stop for a moment and talk to young managers, right? And you've asked this question many times on the podcast, and you said, how do you keep your enthusiasm? How do you not have a low day? How do you not have a bad day? And I think Elizabeth is the absolute shining star for energy, right? However, what happens is when you have, in my opinion, have someone with your experience and with something that you're so excited about, and everybody knows history and luxury hotels in New York, it's all I live for. And so when you have that excitement with all the experience, with all those 2-3 decades of experience of kind of knowing the secrets and the ins and outs of New York, then you come to a historic hotel with the owner spent the right amount of money, got the right person. There is no amount of fun in our business that's more fun than your job right now. Am I right?
You are so right. I walk to work every day. I walk through the flower district of New York up 28th Street, and I walk into our front doors because I want that vision of a guest. And literally every single day I walk across that threshold, I go, how lucky am I? How lucky am I to have this moment? It's really special.
Yeah, it really is. It really is a moment, because those are, listen, everybody knows me. That's I'd like to end my career running a hotel like that. That is, to me, for a person in your position, it's a dream. But why? I'm gonna ask the question that Glenn usually asks, but I'm gonna ask it differently.
I think this is Elizabeth Anthony's way of telling me that I'm completely uncreative and ask the same 3 questions at every show. Go on, Anthony.
No. You're the most creative question.
I'm just fucking with you. Sorry, messing with you.
No. The reason I'm saying this is because I know the brain, right? I know that kind of brain. I've been doing this a long time. And what is the moment? What's the one thing? Because we could all say great hotel, I love the energy in New York, but what's the moment where you said, I was born for this?
Oh, yeah. That would be the censor taking Anthony off. He's back. Don't you worry.
Yeah. What was the moment?
What was the moment that
the moment that you decide you want to be in this business?
So great question. So I was 5. And
I said 7. I said 7. Okay.
I was 5, and my father took me on a daddy and daughter date to the Nutcracker Ballet in Boston. And we had one stop along the way. And that stop was the Ritz-Carlton Boston. And I remember Norman that opened the door. I remember my little shoes, because I was all dressed up, click-clacking across the marble. It was decorated for the holidays, so it smelled of cinnamon and pine. We walked into the tea room. I drank hot chocolate. I tried a scone. I liked the little pastries, the petit four better. And I looked at my dad and said, Daddy, this is what I want to do. And he said, no. This is the way you want to feel. You feel like a princess. Remember this feeling, but it's not what you want to do. And I said, no, I think it's what I want to do. Yeah. So now it came time for me to go to school. And I said, I'm going to go to hotel school. He said, no. If you want my help in going to college, you need to get both a business degree. So you have something to fall back on, because the hotel industry is just weird. We don't know anybody in this industry. And I said, okay, but I'll get a hospitality degree too. So I did. I got a dual degree in business and hospitality. And I started at the Ritz-Carlton Boston 6 days after I graduated from college. Wow. So I literally knew from age 5 that this was my dream. And, it has been ever since.
Okay, so you can't see me because my glasses are on, but of course I'm crying because this is why I'm still doing this, man. 38 years, I had a little bit of the same inspiration when I went to the Plaza Hotel. I was with my girlfriend at the time. We were young, we were teenagers, and we were just walking through. I couldn't afford to even get a scone at the Plaza, and I was just walking through, and I remember these ivory steps, and I look at them, and I was like, I'm going to run this place one day. Maybe 10 years later, I was the night manager, and I thought I had the greatest job in the history of mankind. And that's where I met Debbie Croce. Debbie Croce, who's our mutual friend, she was my assistant human resources director, if I remember right.
Could you tell our crowd could you tell people listening who she is?
Debbie Croce is the greatest human being who ever lived. That's it. That's enough.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I concur.
She was human resource director at St. Regis at the Ritz-Carlton for many, many years. And now I believe she's in Florida, but she's our mutual friend, and she taught me everything I need to know how to treat people. But let me ask you a question, Elizabeth. I haven't worked with her in a long time. Is her desk still not very neat?
She had the messiest desk on the planet. But you know why? It's because she was with the people. She was out on the floor with the team all of the time. And the paperwork came second. And that's what you want in an HR professional, right?
100%.
And that's Debbie.
She's a superstar. Yeah. But I always remember, because my desk looks like my brain, very empty. And hers is very full. And but So let's talk a little bit more, if I can. Glenn, were you going to ask a question?
I was just going to transition back to the hotel, and it sounds like you're doing it.
Okay, so let's, when you're coming into New York, and we all know how much money it costs to open a hotel, develop a hotel, and run a hotel in New York. Well, the people that have done it before know how much. And we know how competitive it is, how insanely competitive it is. You walk through my door and I'm the ownership, I give you the job already. You're 30 seconds in, I hand you the keys and I walk away, because you're the person to be running this hotel, 100%. However, that niche that you're in might be the most difficult niche in New York City, maybe in the country. How do you separate yourself?
Yeah, and I think it's a few ways. And it's funny, I'm going to start with the beauty of the box, the beauty of the asset, but that's not the most important thing. Yep. I will say that Alex, my owner, did it right. He absolutely focused on the right things. Like, there are places to spend your money, and that's the beauty and the quality and all of that. And he spent it in the right places. So things like almost 700 unique pieces of art that are just gorgeous. But the most important part of any hotel is the people. And so really the warmth, enthusiasm, and passion that my team has, and they are, I'll be honest with you, they are a young and green team, many of them from outside hospitality, and we hired them for their heart, because that's the one part you can't teach.
Hey, we talk about that all the time. Right? You're right about that.
And also, I'm a brand girl for so many years, and literally I said, I do not want anything scripted. I want you to be you. I want you to actually, there's a mission, there's a standard, right? We want you to provide exceptional service, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what to say. I want you to be yourself. And that actually is really what resonated and what people say, this is a really special place. And your team are wonderful because I give them that freedom.
Yeah, and you can put standards in, you can put them in a beautiful hotel with beautiful art, and even tell them that I want you to be you. But one of the things that Glenn said in the beginning, and what I'm feeling right now is, I don't know where you're going, but I want to go with you because you're 80% executive and 20% completely out of your mind, and I want to go with you, right? Because too many people are so buttoned up and know how to do P&L and know how to do food costs and know how to like properly speak to the higher ups and the ownership and the brand and all that. That you lived through a brand I could never live through. I don't know how you did it, but congratulations. But because I did exactly the opposite of your career, right?
Yeah.
I've kind of been independent my whole life. So that you're coming in, but it's really everything else is out the window. It's about your spirit. I said it today in the meeting. I said the general manager spirit is the only thing that matters.
Yeah, I just want to point out the lovely sounds of New York City coming out from Elizabeth, and you're probably like 20 stories up too.
I am. I'm 24 stories high right now. So yeah.
That's
too funny. So please go on.
So that you're inspiring, right? I want to work for you. That's what, especially I've always felt whether I worked in hotels is that I want new people. I don't want old habits. I want new people. And I said it before, I'll show you how to push buttons, but your mother and father, your guardian, your uncle, your grandmother, whoever trained you or taught you how to be a human being, that's the person who's your lead trainer. And then I will kind of let you fit in. However, you got to come somewhat baked. And too many people try to kind of get somebody, so, oh, no, I can fix them. You really can't.
Yep. Did she freeze?
I thought I was freezing. That's right.
No, it's her. But her
internet. No, okay, you froze, but you're back. Or maybe not.
I don't know.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Someone's rushing to help with the internet right there. So, all right, you're coming back now, Elizabeth. All right,
I'm back, and I heard you, Anthony. And so, you know what? I get it. First of all, I'd hire you in a minute. I have a perfect role for you. It's a Fifth Avenue butler, and their whole role. Their whole role is to surprise, delight, and create a wow for the guest. That's all I want them to do every day. You'd love it. You'd fit right in. So please, anytime, just give me a call and you're in.
Don't, Glenn, tell her not to say that twice.
I know. Yeah. I don't think you understand, Elizabeth, because his lifelong dream now is to go back to the property level and enjoy that again.
Yeah. So I always say, if you need an elephant in a pink tutu with one leg in the lobby, I'm the guy. So if my assistant's a concierge, used to be a concierge, one of my dearest friends used to be a concierge. So that's the role that I would love. I would absolutely love it. But anyway, Go ahead.
I got something I'd like to add, to throw in here. Elizabeth, you've got a great personality. You're very vibrant. You're very bubbly. You're very light. That's the opposite of what I experience with a lot of formal luxury GMs and COOs who are usually very buttoned up and have that European kind of seriousness about them in their jobs. How did you fit in at Ritz-Carlton for so long? And then how does your personality express itself within the way luxury is presented at your hotel?
Yeah. And so, first of all, I would say, I started with Ritz when there were just 6 hotels. So Ritz grew up with me. I grew up with Ritz. And so at that point in time, especially in those early years, we were a bunch of entrepreneurs. I mean, we were creating something. So that's always stayed with me. I will tell you, it was Alex's biggest concern when he hired me is he's like, is she going to be too buttoned up?
Right.
And then I did something like, I don't know what I did. I swore or something. And he's like, oh, I guess she's okay.
Well, I couldn't imagine you looking buttoned up. You seem to be just a delightful person.
Yeah, we just did a show with our friend Peter Shainlin, the COO of Halakalani Corporation.
Yes, I saw.
The thesis behind that show was talking about formal luxury versus more modern luxury. My guess is you fit more into that modern informal luxury. Luxury is really about the way you make people feel, as opposed to having a rigid set of doing things a certain way. Would that be accurate?
That's entirely accurate. And I think literally, actually, I would say that the hotel business as a whole is about how you make people feel. At the luxury level, we have the ability to make people feel special, but to such an extent that they create a memory that they have forever. And so you're able to do that in a number of different ways. And that more informal approach, I think for today's traveler, that's really what people are looking for. They don't want everything to be so rigid. They want it to be inspiring. They want it to feel good. They want to create a memory. And if I think back to my time as a child when I was 5, it was an experience that was probably an hour and a half long, yet it was powerful enough to set my journey of my entire adult life in that moment. Yeah. And that's the opportunity we have as hoteliers, is to do that.
Yeah.
And especially your clientele, the clientele that you have live like you live in that hotel, and even better and even bigger and even more, even more rare art. And so what I've said many, many times is those kind of clients bought it, sold it, invented it. You're not impressing them with a chandelier or with drapes or with a lobby. Even though it's going to be impressive, they're used to it. They maybe even built something like that. What you're going to be impressed with is exactly what you said, is how do I make them feel in a memory of something like, I had a gentleman that I worked for, Mr. Jim Miller. He owned the Algonquin Hotel. And he used to stay at the same, you may know his name because he used to stay. I do. Yeah. And I said, why do you stay there? And he said, well, you can stay at your hotel. He said, they remember my birthday. I was like, you're a very wealthy man. I'll just say that.
Right.
And you stay there because they remember your birthday. Wow. Like that's why he stays there and pays X amount of dollars a night, because
it's those things. It's those small things. I had a couple, they were, in their late 70s, early 80s, and they were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
And my team was able to search and find their wedding notice in the paper from 50 years ago. And they pulled that out and they framed it and they had it bedside. And that couple literally was in tears when they asked, can we take this with us?
Oh, no doubt. That's what it's for.
It's for you. But it's
I can see you going, oh, no, that's for me. You can't take it.
Just don't take the frame. That's mine.
No, and that's it, man. You just listen. Everybody that's listening, that's in the hotel business, stop. There's no secret. There's no book you're going to read that's going to tell you anything different. That's it. A little frame with their 50, right, with their announcement for their wedding is it. That's the hotel business. And if you don't get that, you're never going to. It's not about the P&L meeting. It's not about the marketing plan. It's not about impressing your boss. It's about looking at that guest that probably bought it, sold it, invented, probably had a crazy career and had a wonderful life. And now they just want a little piece. And when you bring that to them, you're like, you care about us so much. Yeah. And that's why your kind of hotel gets a premium. It's not for any other reason, but that team doing those kind of things.
Yeah. And I would also say that that's what brings hoteliers the great joy.
Yeah.
Right. That's why we do what we do. I mean, if you think about the hotel business, it's not easy. It never closes. It's open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, right? It never closes. But we're wired in our DNA to just enjoy making people happy.
Yeah.
It's just those little surprises, and that's wonderful. And that's why I was attracted to your hotel. From a marketing standpoint, you guys got it marketed so well that I got excited and wanted you on the show, because I was like, what the hell are they doing over there? Because we know that there's other hotels, whether like in Vegas, there was a couple of openings that didn't go as well as they planned.
Well, no Vegas openings go as well as planned.
No, but there's a couple that really didn't do great, but we won't talk about those. And then in New York City, there's a couple of openings at the high level that really kind of can't get their footing. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it seems that you guys grabbed, like you guys seem to have like taken the New York City by storm.
I would say there's a lot of luck in that. And so I'll take that luck. But also it's the people that we selected, that team of mighty Flâneurs that I have that support me, that actually have such passion and love for people that it just comes across. And then Alex gave us the asset to be proud of.
Okay, so she's so let me ask you this, Elizabeth. A little more internet trouble over there for you.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. Give another second.
We're 10 months old. This is
totally. Please continue now. You're back.
Yeah, I would just say, listen, I am incredibly lucky to be part of this, to be able to run this. It's a career dream of mine, and it's very, very special.
Okay, I got a question for you. You've been talking about the people and how great they are, but New York City has so many hotels and so many hotels at the luxury level. So how are you breaking through that clutter to get people's attention to even walk in the door? Now, I said, you said that Alex gave you a great asset, but photos on a website aren't necessarily doing it. What is the secret sauce to get people to sample you as opposed to all of the stalwarts and the new entrants in the market?
You know, it's interesting. 10 years ago, it used to be sales and marketing. I think today it's marketing and sales, marketing with a capital M. And so to be out there, to be determined, to get your hotel noticed in the right places, in the right market, to actually have that balance between social media, true marketing, e-commerce. You're pulling all these levers to make sure that your hotel is exposed. And then from day one, you have to deliver on the promise that you're making to the general consumer. And so literally it's the 1-2 punch, right? Is to be able to get out there boldly and then to produce the results.
So where are you on social media that people that are at the luxury level are paying attention and care enough to follow social media?
Yeah, and so it's interesting. It's by age and demographic, right?
Yeah,
and so literally if I look at people that are in the 40 and under age group, they're looking at Instagram because that's what gives them inspiration. Yeah. And so we spend a lot of time on our Instagram grid to make sure it's absolutely set up perfectly so that people can be inspired, because if they are, they're going to take the time to look at other things, maybe a website, maybe they see an ad somewhere else, and at least they can then start to research. I think what's different than travel of yesterday is people actually do have the finger on the pulse and the ability to research and take a look at where they're going to book. And if they find hotels that have story, that have soul, that have meaning, then they're apt to take a chance. And if we do well from an operations side, they'll come back. And that's how it starts, right?
Yep, Anthony.
Yeah, and I think you just said. I think you just said it. It seems like you and I were born to the same family. It's hotels are soul, right? And especially in New York City, especially with that great history. I want to hear about that history. I want to go there and I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want people to talk about it. I want people to know about it. I was working on a small project in New York City for a little inn, and the owners didn't even know that back in 1800s there was this event that happened. And I'll just say that. And they had no idea. And I was like, no? I was like, it was only like a Google search. And it took me like 20 minutes to find something, but I found it. And so to me, I love the history. And I think if you make it very easily accessible to every guest, they love it too. Because they want to be part of something. They want to know they're saying, who wants to stay in a brand new building, right? I want that kind of feel that this hotel has been here way before me and has had people come through there, and it's a soul. It's just the soul's moved into a different body.
Yeah, and how lucky that I get both. I get a new build tower and I get a mansion
Absolutely.
And that mansion has soul. And so together, when you put the two together, it's a pretty powerful thing.
There's nothing better. And
the first elements of your building, 1907. So it's really a really cool contrast. Sorry, Anthony.
That's when the Algonquin went up. That's when the Plaza went up. That's when they were really building some incredible buildings and mansions.
And 1907 is when it was rebuilt as the bank. It was the late 1800s that it was Charlotte Goodrich's mansion.
Oh, well, according to traditionalbuilding.com, it says it was built in 1907 for the Second National Bank. So maybe there was something there beforehand.
It was. Then it was Goodrich Mansion.
Okay, then there's a two-story addition in 1913 and an additional commercial addition in 1928. And then the brand new tower, most recent.
So, are you saying that you read something on the internet that wasn't factually correct? Is that?
Well, it wasn't our program, so you got to be suspicious.
So give me. So, if you could, because we got to wrap it up in a minute, but if you could just, what was the one thing since you've been there? How long you've been there? How long you've been involved?
A year.
September 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
A year.
Right. So
August.
In that 1 year, tell me the one moment that stands out. Was there one
besides doing this podcast?
This would be number one.
Thank you.
And the second would be our grand opening party, where Sarah Jessica Parker poured champagne into a 20-foot champagne coupe tower. And it was just the most quintessential, you'll appreciate this, Anthony, most quintessential New York moment. That was just so special. Like, it was one of those moments that took my breath away, that I had to pinch myself. And I said, I can't believe I'm doing this. How lucky am I? Right.
My number one moment was going on a date with Mr. Big. So that was
there you go.
A little Sex in the City with people.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's perfect. It's, she's iconic New Yorker. She lives in New York. She worked in New York. There's no more her and her husband on Broadway. Her husband's always on Broadway.
Always, yeah.
So there's no more New York than that.
Yeah.
All right, and now I'm going to go watch Ferris Bueller again. But yeah.
So me and Glenn would love to do this podcast from your hotel in the next couple of months, hopefully.
Wonderful. Absolutely. And I really want to introduce you both to Alex. I think you'd find him an inspiring young hotelier with an incredible vision.
Awesome. I absolutely love it. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here. Your positive energy is going to keep me going all day long. So thank you.
Thank you both. I'm grateful for the time. It's been a pleasure.
Stay in the green room. Stay in the green room.
We'll do it.
All right. Anthony, you're 2 for 2 this week for bringing 2 awesome guests on.
Well, you're welcome. And you did lie a little bit, and I have to call you on your lie.
Right.
You said that she inspired you to keep you motivated and excited all day. Okay. How long is that going to last?
All day. All day. I mean, I go to sleep at 4 p.m., but it will. It's great. I got to take a kid for a driving test after this, so I need a lot of positive.
All right, go ahead.
Feelings and stuff like that.
So,
and while
take us out.
Hold on, let me wrap it up. While I am taking my kids to the driving test, why don't you guys go ahead and re-listen to the show on audio? Get the audio podcast wherever you get your shows. And if you're listening to us in audio right now, you're going to want to watch this one. Be sure to check it out on all of our social media accounts and all Hauser shows in perpetuity at NoVacancyNews.com. Thanks for being here. We'll be back tomorrow with another new show. And remember, you've got one life, so blaze on, and
be kind to yourself.
See y'all later. Bye-bye.